Hello and welcome to Kinsei-Do Corner. Have you ever wondered how to unlock your full potential and live your healthiest, most fulfilling life? Then this podcast is here to help you achieve just that. We dive deep into the world of health and performance, exploring how to move better, feel better, and live a healthier, more fulfilling life. I chat with inspiring coaches, athletes, health experts, and high performers from all walks of life to learn from their stories, mindsets, and lifestyle choices. Whether you're an experienced high performer or new to the world of health and well-being, I'm in your corner to guide you on the path to being the healthiest, happiest, and highest performing version of yourself. Let's go. Okay, hello and welcome back to Kinsei-Do Corner, episode 69. Today with Justin Griggs. And I'll share a little bit about who he is and why I'm so excited to have him on my podcast. And then I'm going to pass the microphone over to him to dive right in. So, Dr. Justin, as I may say, who recently got his PhD in psychology, and he'll talk about that as well. Dr. Justin is a new colleague here at the British School Jakarta, where I work, and he has a very, very unique background, and he's uniquely qualified to talk about the topic that I want to dive in today, which is balancing all of the demands that life kind of throws at you, physical demands or mental demands, social demands, family, all of that. I think Justin has a very unique perspective because he was an elite athlete in his college days. And then obviously now he's got his PhD, as I already mentioned. He works as a counselor here at the school. So he has a unique insight into the kind of the pressures and how different people deal with these pressures. And as a father of three, I'm sure he also has a lot of pressure outside of work that he needs to balance. So welcome, come on the show, Justin. It's a real pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's a big wind-up, so my head's extra big after all that. But thank you.
It can be. It's rare that I get to speak to someone of your athletic pedigree. Obviously, this being a fitness podcast, I have coaches and athletes who are typically from the fitness space and who are very, very fit individuals and great at what they do, but I don't think not many have reached the levels that you have in the past.
Long time ago. It's worth mentioning, not right now, in the past. But yeah, thank you.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, maybe let's dive right in from that kind of point of view, from this past when you were competing at such a high level in a I haven't even said that yet, in a sport that demands a lot of time, swimming that is. How did you balance all the different demands then, or how did you even think about what all the things that are going on, your training, your studies, your other responsibilities in life? What was, if there was a thought process around kind of trying to stay on track with all of it?
There was, yeah, there very much was. So I guess for me, there's always an excellence around a mindset around excellence. I got that backwards, but yeah. So I mean, initially it was probably other focus. So looking at what other people did and trying to emulate that, and that probably that was helpful in some ways in terms of setting the bar high. But I guess the further I went on, the more it became self-referent. So around trying to just constantly shift the bar, continuous improvement in pretty much every domain, because I think the mindset that you approach your sport with is the same mindset really that it doesn't make sense to have a mindset of high performance towards sports, so, and then in academics not have that, or in family life not have that. Although I acknowledge that can sometimes be tiring to always have that sort of mindset. So there can be downsides, and you've got to learn to temper that, I think, to make it sustainable. But yeah, I think early on in my life, it was, I did sort of delineate between different domains of my life and sort of be like, oh, I want to be high performing here, and then just sort of whatever when it comes to academics. But I think as time went on and the I guess it became more and more my journey versus like what I thought I had to do. The more that I guess I recognized that it was like that same thought process of like, can I continually get better, would suit me or serve me well across all domains of my life. And I'm certainly not saying I'm like the pinnacle of perfection in any manner. Certainly far from it. But yeah, I guess I have had a lot of a lot of things happen that I didn't think I could do. Like, I mean, you mentioned sort of like the studies. So I never in school thought of myself as anything other than an average student. Very much like, and I don't think I've got like abilities that are beyond that amazing. So I think it just became this constantly growing belief. If you had told me 20 years ago, oh, you'll get, you'll go and do a doctorate, I would have laughed at that idea. It wasn't something I was interested in. It wasn't something that I thought I was even capable of. Long-winded sort of answer here, but basically, yeah, it's just that like real hunger for like that sense of progression and sense that it's like all the feeling of competence that comes with doing really well and surpassing your own expectations and knowing that what that mindset of incremental progress can do when you extrapolate it over a really long period of time. Like they're just that exponential opportunities that pop up from that mindset. So yeah, that's sort of what swimming just gave me, that first taste of this is what you can do with sustained commitment and doing things that other people aren't willing to do. And that's sort of stuck with me. So that's probably it in a nutshell, and like a 5-minute answer there. If you can do things that other people that are uncomfortable and many people aren't willing to do, then maybe they're stupid, maybe they're not worth doing, and maybe they're dangerous, or maybe they might lead you to something, to the path less traveled, which might actually be pretty cool, like maybe coming and working in Indonesia.
Yeah, then that's really cool. I mean, it's obviously, yeah, being a psychologist and mindset is something that probably now you think about every day. But even then, I can see where that developed, and yeah, to obviously to reach the sort of level that you did in swimming, you must have started relatively young, right? You can't have jumped in the pool at 17 and thought, okay, maybe I'll become elite at this. So this whole thing started when you were young, and you were able to develop this all-in sort of thinking from a young age, which then probably helped you to transfer this from the pool to working on your doctorate, or even to being a family man, right? Basically, be all in, and do it properly, so to say.
Yeah, and look, I'll just say it's worth acknowledging that my swimming career, I didn't achieve half of what I wanted to. Like when I started off, I wanted to make the Olympics. I wanted to be an Olympic champion, and those who know swimming will know that I was way off that. Even though it seems like to people who haven't achieved that level, you know, some of like the times that I did or the competitions that I went to sound really good, but I'm well aware that I was way off the goal that I set for myself. So I don't come to I guess I don't come with that mindset of arrogance that, oh, I've done this amazing thing. In some ways, I'm actually, I don't want to say disappointed, but my lesson or what I share with people is not a lesson of like, oh, here's how to be the best, because I don't feel like that's actually what I did. Like
Mm,
I wasn't the
mm,
best.
mm.
Didn't achieve what I wanted to. But I can share some insights from that, you know, like if I could have my time again, I would have done this differently. I would have done that. I swam with some people who were amazing, who were the best in their respective fields, and that gave me, I guess, that mindset. It's all relative. Like, what is the best? Because if you're not, if you use a benchmark like say Michael Phelps is the best, and there's only one person who's going to be that level. So it definitely wasn't that. But then, like, I get it's all subjective, right? Where do you draw your line of satisfaction? And by no means do I want to stand or sit here and say that I'm like I view myself or my career in swimming as a failure, but I think it's like quite the opposite. In many ways now, actually, my mindset, speaking of mindset, my mindset has completely changed. So I went back and swum some masters competitions and I'm sort of training again at the moment after a bit of an injury. And before, my focus was entirely outcome based. So it was like, all right, you've done all this work now, make sure that you basically have given it a big tick, like that your outcome matches your work. So there was all this perceived pressure thinking that, oh my God, it's nationals and everyone's watching me, and nobody's watching me. It was just me and my mum and probably a couple of mates that I train with. So now when I compete, I actually, and this is going to sound a bit corny, but when I get up, even if I don't get up to compete, but especially if I do, I've already won. Like, again, I said it was going to be corny. I've already won because I'm fit, I'm healthy, I feel awesome, I'm physically capable, I'm challenging myself, I'm moving in ways that, like are much better than I would if I wasn't doing all this training. And I just feel really good about myself. So actually, then the outcome becomes a bonus. Like if I swim really poorly, it's just like I would literally say to myself, "Oh well," and it wouldn't matter. Again, I'm not putting the same amount of time as I was, and I've got investment in other areas of my life that mean that swimming is now a tiny part versus before it being a massive part. So there's that mental shift as well. But yeah, it's funny how you view a sport changes, and I often reflect that now when I work with young athletes. It's like there's all this pressure. Oh, you got this big thing. Is it really pressure? Because realistically, if we take a step back, not to undermine here, because again, it's important to those young people that what we are doing is we are kicking a ball around a field, or we are going up and down a swimming pool. We're not performing brain surgery on somebody. Nobody's life is on the line. And yes, there's that investment of time, but it's a privilege. It's an absolute privilege to be there. And like, how good is this? That sort of mindset of like it's fun to get out there and test myself against the best players. And again, I'm aware I'm sort of waffling on a bit here, but my mindset around that shifted as well, because there was a time where I would hope, when I used to compete, it was all outcome focused, and I used to hope that like the best people weren't there. Oh, maybe they're sick, maybe they're injured. Oh, great, maybe I've got a chance to make a final that I won't. And actually now, um, it's sort of like the opposite. I mean, again, I'm
You
not.
want them to be there, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you want to be there, because why would we want to play against a substandard team? It's almost a disappointment, because if we win, we want to know that we beat the best version of them. Not, oh, we won because we sort of fell over the line and they didn't have a full team, or their best player had the sniffles or something like that. Yeah, I think it's my mindset's changed so much, and and yeah, I'm aware that that's a stage of life thing as well, and other priorities. So it's different when if you're pouring all your identity bucket into like all your sort of identity into one bucket. It's hard. It's hard not to really value that outcome in that moment, because that's who you are. You've put all your life into it, and that's why I don't really advocate for that approach much with young people. There's got to be bit more spread, so it doesn't feel like that, and it keeps the fun in it as well.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's very valuable. And I mean, obviously, realizing this shift of it's about the process, not the outcome. It's really hard for kids, for young athletes to do that. It's even hard for adults to do that, right? And this kind of maybe this is where we can shift into away from the sport into the call it the business world, or the adult world, so to say, because even for someone who is a CEO, or whatever it is, often that is their identity, right? The outcome, be it shareholder value or whatever, that is that is the outcome, and that is all that matters. And the process kind of, I wouldn't say it gets forgotten, because obviously that's what gets him there, but the process, they don't care so much about the process, if as long as the outcome is what they want to. But then you have this big problem if the outcome isn't what the outcome that you want. And so if you can take the learning or the take the enjoyment from the process, from the journey, that's I guess that's half the win. Then
Yeah.
almost the outcome doesn't matter so much.
There's also a lot of guessing when you do that approach, I think, because you like you sort of throw a lot of things against the wall and then hope it all works out, and then if it does, it's like, yeah, we're the best because we just grind really hard, and then if it doesn't, it's like, well, we'll just have to grind harder, or we're just gonna have to make like wholesale changes, and there's not this, because there's not the emphasis on that getting that process right, inherently right. Because I guess if you get the process right, then the outcome should be like what you want, or it should be heading towards that. And if it's not, then the process, you need to review the process, because your idea of what the process is, or what it should be, is actually wrong, or there's something wrong there. So I think you can get caught chasing the outcome in many ways. And yeah, it's very tempting because that's what is all shiny and that's what people look at. But yeah, I've actually, it's funny you mentioned that, because I was even reflecting on this stupidly, because I'm thinking way too much about, like, as a 37-year-old now, about very say fun level sport play that I'm doing. It's not even semi competitive. It's like I'm thinking about a couple of tennis games that I've been playing recently, literally hit and giggle. And I was thinking about my response to errors. So when I first stopped swimming, I needed to find some exercise that fit me, because I love moving and I really enjoy sports. So I played a bit of tennis, and my wife is big into tennis, and taught me a lot about technique. And that journey was interesting, because initially I was all about trying to win, and I was actually thinking now how much focusing on the process is like helping me in not getting upset about errors. Because I actually, when I do an error, I reflect on it sounds very sort of woo woo, but I actually think about, what did I not do here in this space in connecting with the ball, so that the ball didn't travel to the outcome that I wanted to. So I had all the factors here, the control, especially indoor. There's no movement of it, like the ball's not moving around. It's not very difficult, and it's like there's something that I've done. It's not, oh, the ball just wouldn't get over the net, or, oh, my racket was wrong. It's ultimately, it's my responsibility, and I needed to change something in the way I moved. And often it's my footwork wasn't right, because it's not natural for me, because I learned as an adult. So I'm not as, I often find my feet get a bit into funny positions and end up sort of swinging through the ball in a funny way, or I'm not like sort of staying low and moving forward into the ball the way I'm meant to, or I'm not meeting the ball in front of my body. So I'm just asking myself, what was it there? What was it there? And okay, now think next step, next action. What next point? I'm going to have an opportunity to change that. And that's the cool thing about tennis, is you have that constant reflection cycle. And before, that was actually a really bad thing for me when I first got into it, because with swimming you do one individual event and then you sort of like unpackage it for like an hour or two. Oh, it was horrible. Oh, this was bad. But in tennis, you have those micro events that happen again and again and again and again, and you need to recover from it, because here, oh, yep, next point's up. You can't. Before I'd spiral with that, and now I feel like, as again, I haven't really been tested on this yet. I haven't like been badly beaten and fallen apart recently, so this is all very theoretical. But I have been finding, when I hit at the moment, because I'm focused on that process, I'm actually getting better as the hitting goes on. Obviously, I'm warming up as well. I'm getting a better feel, but I'm actually like changing the way that or making slight adjustments to hit the ball better, and that's leading to better outcomes in terms of, yeah, like what happens to the ball and that sort of thing. So I think I honestly think so many people are focused on outcomes, and with good reason. It can be a nice little cherry, but yeah, then when you get back to that more, I guess, where like social tennis, you're not focused on winning or losing necessarily, because it's not like I'm winning $1 million for the parents' tennis night here. But it's just about like that sense of like, am I playing well? That moving back to intrinsic motivations versus like that extrinsic, like, yeah, me winning or me looking good or me, yeah, getting a prize. So Yeah, I think there's a lot that can be done in that space for young people and for adults in every sphere.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree with that. And I mean, focusing on the outcome is something that we well, when we judge what other people achieve, we only see the outcome, right? We don't know their process. So we see someone losing 20 kilos, looking totally shredded. So that's what I want. So that's how do I get there? And rarely do you ask them, okay, what was the process? What did you do every day, every week, consistently to get there? And it's not only for sport or for health or exercise related things. And I liked what you said about tennis being like giving you all these opportunities to reflect and then to reset. And that's if you have that ability to do that in any setting, even let's say you have a let's say a business presentation and you get the sense that whatever you just said didn't quite have the impact that you wanted it. If you are able to reflect and change and improve, then even when you start off, let's say a presentation or a meeting badly, you're able to turn it around. Whereas if you don't have that and you just dwell on a negative and a negative and a negative, and you just well, like
Mhm.
you just keep going down, and you might
Yeah,
late.
well, it's about how you frame errors. Because if you frame errors as these big, "Oh, bad thing, I'm bad at this, I'm bad at that," then that's gonna be, like, I guess, lead you to try not to make errors, which is a really bad mindset to walk into anything with. So, one thing that I'm sort of a bit obsessed with is, like, trying to, tighten up learning circles. So, like, for example, so this is a bit along the lines of some podcasts I've heard from Josh Waitzkin. He's like a
Mm. Yeah, I
chess
know. Yeah.
and yeah, very like learning focused guru, I'd say. And he's got some excellent stuff around how he learned. I think I can't remember if it was surfing or it was maybe the foiling. And I actually used that. So basically, he got like a motorized one, and instead of catching waves, which would take ages, he just like got a motorized one and went round and round in circles because that was what was the one of the key skills, and that was something that you struggle to get much practice on. And did it for like 20 minutes continuously to get that feel. Whereas if you did that on waves, it would have taken 6 months to
Mm.
get those same
Mhm.
amount of turns. And so I was sort of doing that again, a ridiculous one, just on a little scooter, like trying to practice so I can be, hopefully be able to ride motorbikes and scooters here because they're much more common form of transport. Just getting like tiny area and doing turns back and around and around and around because they're heavy and just to get that feel and also like the being able to like do small shifts. So finding opportunities where you can essentially like it's a bit of a hack mindset, but
Mm.
like trying to shorten the learning circle because then you take the hard bits and do them again and again and again with that feedback. And I think that's like early on, you sort of, I think in the learning journey of life, you try and hide from feedback because, mate, you don't want to be found out, you don't want to look silly, but certainly the older I get, the more that I search for those opportunities, like rather than sitting in a language class with 10 people that
Mm.
might
Yeah.
be, really helpful, sit in with one person and try and get that exactly where I'm at and the speed that I need it to be, or like just I'm just obsessed with that sort of thing. Like not because like I have to learn things quickly or anything. There's
Mm.
no massive rush or pressure. It's just I really enjoy finding ways to do things my own way, like create a pathway that sort of that is unique. So then when people sort of ask, "Oh, how did you learn that?" It's like, "Well, this is what I did," and it be like something that you've really owned rather than, "Oh, I just like sat on, for example, learning a language and hitting flashcards for 500 hours." That might be part of it. Trying to like combine things together to create unique, almost just proud as like the process that I created. So when I learned French due to family sort of reasons and needing to speak that for my wife's family. And I'm not saying I'm perfect at it, but one of the things I'm most proud about learning that is how I created like a unique learning system for myself to learn that, incorporating music, incorporating subtitles of movies, and putting a bunch of different things together, not the outcome of being able to speak French. Like that's cool, but it's yeah, again, back to that process thing. So sort of interlinking a lot of things here might be a bit jumbled to the listener, but yeah, that sort of how can I make this interesting? How can I make it meaningful to my own, where I'm at and what I want
Yeah.
to do?
Yeah, because obviously, I mean, as we said, right, it's the process is more important than focusing on the outcome. And then if on top of that, you can make the process enjoyable, well, then you are significantly more likely to follow it. So then yeah, then you'll get to the outcome even faster, which is, yeah, it's a win-win cycle in that sense. That's, I think, is a really, really interesting mindset or interesting. I see you dislike the word hack, and I do too as well, actually. But yeah, it is a bit of a hack to kind of come up with your own processes rather than say, okay, I want to learn French. Here's the textbook. Here's the French class, and I go there twice a week, and it takes me 2 years to get to any sort of level of fluency. So yeah, that's really interesting, and well, something we could. I'm happy to dive into, let's say, learning and all these kind of things on a separate episode. That's also really, really fascinating. But I think it's also because, or it's also why generally or commonly people think that children learn anything much faster. Let's say my son started playing tennis a year ago, and he's already significantly better than me, at least technique wise, right? I mean, I can probably still chase him around, but that's just because I'm bigger and faster. But technique wise, but then it's also because as an adult, I would probably go to my lessons 3 times a week, and that's it. Whereas kids, they just pick up the racket and they go on a court and they hit it against the wall, and they just they just get in the reps, so to say, right? So they follow a process, not even someone told them this is the process. They came up with that by themselves.
Yeah, and the play aspect to that, right? The unstructured play, I think that's where you find ways. Yeah, not everything has to be explicit. I think for good people often find their own way that works for them because there's more than one way to skin a cat. So, like, if I think when you get very structured about how things have to be done, you can lose a bit of that fun and that creativity. So I think that's part of what I hear when you hear like kids, hitting up against the wall or playing games in different ways. They might, you know, create some sort of like game that uses the tennis racket that we would never think of or would never
Mm.
be brought up in a drill, and
And
that then reinforces it. So yeah, that's
yeah,
cool.
yeah, completely. Right. Conscious of time, I do want to kind of start wrapping things up, and I know we jumped several places, and we talked about things like learning and coming up with innovative ways of learning, and generally before the learning, thinking of learning in a positive way, having that mindset of, okay, I want to focus on the small steps rather than the big outcome. I want to see how far can I get if I put in if I go all in, so to say, zooming back out and kind of not with necessarily athletes in mind, but with regular people in mind that are, again, coming back to what I said at the beginning, that are juggling lives that include work, that include family, that may still, like you and me, include social, sporting, or social athletic goals. What would be your like top 2 or 3 tips for balancing that all? It doesn't have to be three. Can be two. Can be five. What would you say if I came to you and said, okay, look, I wanna still, this isn't me, but I want to run a marathon and I want to be good at my job, and I also want to make sure that my family still sees me a couple of times a week. So how do I how do I put all of that under one roof?
Yeah, great question. I'd say where can those things overlap? So it sounds like when you present them that they're individual and contrary ideas, but actually they may fit into each other in some ways, and I would say complement in many ways as well. So you know, running the marathon, how can you make that fun? How can that be like it's probably unlikely that the kids are going to come on every single training run with you, depending on their age. But there's so many ways that they could be, you can embed that. So something that I've had to do with young kids, well, especially through COVID, was if you want to do movement, you got to find a way to fit them into it. So I would suggest, again, depending on the age, maybe on a slow run, or slow longer run. Part of it, the kids can ride the bikes ahead of you. If they're sort of, at least my experience is, once they hit 5 or 6, they can ride a bike pretty much as fast as you can run, if not faster, especially for like a slower, longer run. And it might not be they, do, if it's a long 30K run or something, they're probably not going to do all that. But kids love that sort of stuff, uh, getting involved and being a part of it. And as far as the work, finding ways to embed that, like, can you, it might be really difficult, and maybe you can run to work once or twice a week, and that's part of your training. It might take, so for us here to get to work at the moment, it's probably 30 odd minutes in a car for me and 30 minutes on a mountain bike. So I've been riding a mountain bike for the last 3 weeks because, well, I get the fitness of a mountain bike and sitting in a car. It's nice sometimes, and you obviously get better air quality as well. But yeah, there's that overlap, active transport. So they don't have to be like, yeah, I think if you treat them as like, I'm going to work here, I'm going to train here, and I'm going to spend time with my kids here, that makes it difficult to fit in too many things. But when you can overlap them a bit, fine. Because yeah, often at least two of the things will have some capacity to overlap, even if it's just that, like, maybe I can run to work and I just might need to be a bit organized. And on a Monday, I might need to take in 2 suits or 2 sets of business clothes so that, when I run in the next day, I've got everything there ready, and I've got, 2 days of lunch as well. So that'd be probably my biggest thing, finding the cracks in what's possible. So even like, and you do this really well with lunch times. So is there the possibility in your work lunch break? And there may not be,
Mm.
but to go and get a 20-30 minute movement in. And again, it's not just that, oh, well, that suits my running. It's that then you're fresher, you actually work better, you're probably more efficient for that afternoon session, and you maybe get things done 30 minutes quicker because you're fresher and you're not like, looking for a sugar hit, and I don't know, scrolling on your phone during lunch. You get something there, and you might actually be home and have more energy for the kids as well. But certainly for me, when I'm in my best physical shape, I'm a far better parent because I've got more energy. I'm up, let's play some games. Had even a small amount of sort of body weight, poor eating, lack of exercise, and suddenly it's like the kids want to have a kick or want to do this, and it's like this big job.
Yeah, and it's
So
a spiral, right? It snowballs very quickly. Um,
yeah, yeah, it is. It all feeds into each other. That's probably my big big message there. I find if I'm eating well, then I've got more motivation to exercise. I'm more positive about everything. I feel a sense of progress, and it's just things just go along. However, obviously, if you deprive yourself too long, then I find I snap, and then I'm like, so having little moments in there, sort of in my schedule, where it's like for me, it's the weekend where I can have a bit more of a relaxed eating approach, so that I don't feel like it's all this pent up pressure of like, oh, I've got to eat a perfect diet. But yeah, finding that balance, because then I sleep better and then I have more energy, and it all feeds in. So I think in many ways, I've forgotten what the law is, but there's this idea that whatever you've got will expand into the space that you give it. So for
yeah,
example,
I heard of that too. I forgot.
if you've got 4 hours a week, or if you've got 20 hours a week to train for a marathon, you probably waste a heap of time and maybe even overtrain and do a bunch of useless training that probably doesn't help that much. Maybe procrastinate for a bunch of the time. But if you've got 4 hours a week or even 3 hours, you're probably going to do that training as efficiently as you can. And obviously, you've got to be smart. You're not going to go sprint out, straight out of the gate. You still got to warm up. You still got to do all the basics of, to make sure you're doing it in a way which is not, demanding too much and creating injuries. I think that's been my experience, and it becomes, at least for me, and for many people that I've worked with, it is more enjoyable when it's like a tidbit in your week. It's like, yeah, I'm doing that marathon as like a little side project, little, side hustle would be the business equivalent, but it's not it's something that I'm pouring a little bit into. I'm committed to it, but it's like rather than it being my full-time thing, and it just adds dimensions to your personality. It adds opportunities to meet new people. So yeah, I'm a big advocate for having lots of little things that you dip your toes into, for your own growth. And you can also be a different person in those different settings, right? The person you are at home as a parent is totally different to the person you'd be as a runner, to the person you'd be as an employee in the office. So it gives you a capacity to show different sides of your personality and not be too constrained by the ideas of people around you. So yeah, there's so many benefits in my mind. I know that wasn't really like a strategy or a like tick
Oh, no,
these.
no, no, it was, and I think, I mean, again, many people, again, also struggle with that because it takes organization, as you said, right? Bringing lunch in, bring the change of clothes in a day ahead. But a lot of people also, and I have to look at myself on in this one too, have a lot of have often have an all or nothing mindset, right? If I can't do the 5 hours training, then why do it at all? And it takes some practice and it takes some refocusing to get in and say, okay, no, look, half an hour is what I've got, and I'm going to make the most of that. And obviously, it all adds up, right? Do you do the half an hour consistently 5 days a week, for a few weeks or months, it'll add up. Um,
And you
so yeah,
stop
that's
thinking about it as well. It stops becoming even a choice. Like I've
mm,
done the last 6 weeks now. I've swum every day or pretty much every day for the first time in years, and I haven't even been thinking about whether I should wake up the next morning. It's just like, oh, here we go, let's go for a swim, and you almost take the choice out of it. It's not like a wake up. Oh, should I? Shouldn't I?
mm,
And you are, and then you waste a bunch of time and it's all this effort. It's just go do it, and then the idea that motivation has to lead action is such a false premise, and it's so important to learn that. I think if you're going to achieve anything that might be a bit difficult in life, it's the idea that actually often motivation comes following action.
yeah,
We use
action.
this in depression all the time. It's do something and you will probably feel more motivated to do it after doing it for 10 minutes. I'm always more motivated 10, 15 minutes into
Mm,
my swim than I was before because
mm,
now I'm moving, now I'm feeling okay. What's possible? Rather than, it should feel amazing before I jump in the water every time. Nah, not going to
no,
happen.
only 1 out of 10 it does. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
that's
Brilliant. Okay. Well, awesome, Justin. I think this has been really, really insightful, and I think I certainly have taken a lot away and renewed motivation to just get myself organized and make sure that I don't see it as a black or white. Right? It's not okay. I'm at work or I'm at home and with the family. I'm not saying you should bring your work home. That
yeah,
can be a
that's
strategy, but not necessarily the best one. Yeah, just having that kind of optimization mindset and just making making the best use of time is the way to balance and achieve several different things at a high level as you have and as you are. So thank you for your time. Really great chat, and I'd love to dive deeper into the learning aspect another time.
yeah, no, it's fantastic to chat. The time went very quickly, so forgive me if I've waffled on a bit at certain moments, but no, it was great. Good, happy to chat anytime.
All
Thanks,
right,
John.
thank you, Justin. Have a good day.